Well, hello to the second part of the walkthrough for Demon's Genesis RPG beta version and a less hair version. I finally had that haircut that I've been talking about. I spoke about it in stream at least. I don't know if I spoke about it in videos, to be fair. But yes, less hair, absolutely. Right, so part 2 is outside the dome. The dome is where we started, in Eben's office, part of the dome at least. The dome is the central building in Eden, and as you can see, it's somewhat circular. It's 2D pixel art circular, at least. So our main mission here is to find Goban, but where is Goban? Because you can go in quite a few directions. You can go to the south, you can go to the east, and you can also go to the west. If you remember that we spoke about the footprints that are in front of Eben now, they take you to a different screen. Well, when you get stuck, if you get stuck in a place like this, you can start to ask people, and they'll help you with orientation. So this guy, for example, will tell you that the trading post is to the west, which is not a lot of information, but it is some information. But there is actually a really useful Fravashi. This one right here, she will tell you where a number of characters are. So we can ask, for example, where is Angel Goban? And she'll tell us that he's outside the city gates. And we can ask, for example, about Angel Doran, and we'll hear that he's by the eastern wall, so you understand that the wall is to the east. Well, the walls are everywhere, but there's a wall you can visit to the east. Angel Daniel is in the trading post, which we've just heard from the guy outside the tent is to the west. And we can also ask about Angel Israfil, and we'll find out that he's in the south. So it gives you some kind of orientation as to what's in what direction. And these characters for now, they won't mean much to you, but they will become recurring characters throughout the game, and you will get to know them as time goes on. But we're looking for Goban, so we know that Goban is to the west, so we'll do that last in the walkthrough. If you go on this square tile here, you will get a short interaction with one of the Fravashi, and you'll meet Angel Duma. And it's just a little bit of fluff, basically, about how strong Angel Duma is as a training, and Eben's kind of approach training as well. He's also quite the hard ass. And as the Fravashi gets back up, we can actually go and talk to her. She'll just give us basically the information that she's not going to fall again. And if we speak to this gentleman here, he's going to tell us about Duma being a hard ass again, which we already know. This lady's going to demonstrate some training. Wapa. As you can see, men and women are training together because in Aglos society, men and women are equal. There's no difference between them. This lady will tell you a little bit about the shield being too heavy, and this guy will tell you about Malak and his interactions and his relationship to these Fravashi in training. They're all one group, basically. They're quite young in this case. And then we can also speak to Angel Duma. Angel Duma is the training master in Eden, and she is going to help us train. When you get to the third dialogue tree with her, you will actually get to learn all about the training in general. She'll tell you all about it, but I'm going to give you some more information, and I'm going to go through some basic ways to fight and also some basic fighting concepts here and show them, demonstrate them with training itself. So, and there's also a little bit of fluff between Malak and Duma, and also Duma will bring up something about Evelyn Hart, so this is starting to build on. She's the first one to mention it, when she simply has the line, "It's good for clearing the mind." Of course, you can't just skip the training. I wouldn't recommend it, especially first time through. It makes the forest much harder if you skip the training. I know that in our Let's Play, where I played the game, I was fine, but I was quite lucky with the spawns. If you get 3 enemies in your first fight, it's going to be difficult, especially if you didn't pick up some mail. But we're going to take the training here. Alright, so as you can see, now we're on the battle screen, and we have different sections. We have a physical skills section, defensive skills section, passive skills section, hold ground, and item. Obviously, item allows you to use any item you've picked up. And items don't follow the general RPG system. I don't have potions, high potions, etc. I use as real-world concepts as I can for the same ideas. So a basic meal is a potion, a decent meal is a high potion, water is like a MP replenisher, and carrots help you cure from blind. Yeah, seriously. I don't remember what onions do off the top of my head, but they also remove a status element, and it's all written in the text anyway. And just play around with them and see what they do. So attack just gives you the normal attack. Physical, some characters have skills. Eben doesn't have a physical skill at the moment. He doesn't have a defensive skill either, but he does have a couple of passive skills. If you wait, you recover some health and DP, but you don't get to attack. And if you taunt, which I'm going to do, It means that when someone else tries to hit, Eben will take the hit instead of whichever character is targeted. Sometimes, it doesn't always work, but it's kind of like a tank skill in other RPGs or gacha-style games. And because Eben Hart has the highest HP, it makes sense that he taunt. You'll also see that there's a HP, a DP, and a PowerPoint section on this side. I'm not going to say PP again. Damn it. Oh well. So health points, defensive points, and power points. Health points are obviously your life force. When you run out of health points, you get knocked out. If your entire team gets knocked out, you're dead. Kind of like Pokemon, apart from you're actually dead in this universe. You're not just running to the hospital and then get saved. You're actually dead. Defensive points are used for mostly passive skills, but also defensive skills, of course. So anytime you see a skill with a blue number next to it, like Yoka has Recover with a blue number, this will use defensive points. And power points allow you to use your physical attacks. Yoka doesn't have one, but I'll talk about that when we get to Samael. Though I do need to mention that when you hold ground, it greatly increases your power points. So even though Samael is a better choice for it right now, I'm going to get Yoka to do it because Yoka gets to attack twice, because he's special like that. And he's also going to put an attack in against the fastest enemy, which is the female Agalos warrior, so we'll hit her. And I'm just going to attack with Samael because he can't use his physical attack at the moment, but he will get some power points if he has a successful hit. So let's see that go through. When we hold ground, we all get a yellow shield next to our name. It's just that our defense is greatly increased, which is what hold ground does. And when we do a taunt, we have a green shield next to our name, which shows us that Eben is taunting right now. Now, in this particular fight, the enemy don't do any damage, so you don't need to worry about all this, but it is good practice to get into this habit early, because you're going to want to do it a lot, especially in the later fights. And when you get to one-on-ones especially, some enemies hit really hard, and they can wipe your team pretty quickly if you're not holding ground. Alright, so round 2. Now, Eben still doesn't have any physicals, as you can see, so we don't need to do that. We'll focus instead on hitting the female Agalos. And we don't need to recover, because recover removes status elements, and we don't have any, so Yoka will also attack. And we'll attack twice. And Samael can now use his double attack, and you'll see that the number next to his double attack is green, and green means that it uses power points, not defensive points, and it attacks 2 random enemies. So let's see that happen. There's one dead. Alright, 2 dead. Good, and they'll keep going. So now we're just going to attack our way through. Though I should really hold ground again, because you can see that now 2 of the yellow shields are gone, 1 when I started speaking. But the enemy is so low on health, it's not even worth it. And he's not doing any damage anyway. But alright, we'll do it to keep the habit going on. So Yoka will hold ground, and hold ground usually goes before anything else, but this Agalos will die this turn for certain. I wouldn't be surprised if this does it. Oh. And when you see a red number, it means that you did a critical hit, so Eben just did a critical hit. When you win a battle as well, you get experience, and you get gold if you're fighting people. You don't if you're fighting monsters. You also get items, weapons, and all this kind of stuff. So we got a pretty good haul there. Well, we got a good haul there, actually. And everybody gets experience, of course. So Eben is now level 2, Yoka's now level 2, Samael is now level 2. You can talk to her again, even if she moves away like she just did, and you can have a round 2. And round 2 is going to bring you into the game proper, because this enemy actually does damage. So, ready for round 2? Yes, I am, Duma. This time we're facing one enemy, but this one enemy is stronger than the other 3 enemies combined. He has a shield, which means he's going to have a lot more defense. He can also evade a bit better, and in general he hits harder than the first group. So this time it's a better idea to really hold ground, so we probably will. And Eben still doesn't have a skill, so we can just attack there. And we will hold ground with Yoka, and then we will attack. And we can start off with a double attack, because we have 19 power points, so we'll hit with a double attack as well at the start. And the enemy also held ground, so his defense is also greatly increased, which means we're only going to do about 15 damage when we hit him. Eben will do about 20, and Samael will do 20-something as well. That was some high evasion there, though. Okay, And we'll do another attack. And again. And again, yeah. And this time Samael can't do his double attack because he doesn't have enough power points, so we'll just do a normal attack. As you can see, we're really not doing a lot of damage. The hold ground basically removes 2/3 of the damage, so it's a really powerful skill for yourself and for the enemy. But it will run out eventually for him, and it will actually run out this round for us, so I'm going to put it back up. So he's only doing 4 or 5 instead of doing 20-30 damage. So, 30 experience and gold again, because we were fighting a person. Picked up a decent meal and an axe. Right then. Not enough to level up that time though. And that's the last of the training, but you can actually talk to her about the battle system in general. So we'll go through that. We'll go through that now, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff in the menu. So the menu to break. Do you wish to learn more about the battle system? Yes. It can't hurt. Each party member has HP, health points, DP, defensive points, and power points stats. When your HP runs out, you're out of the fight. I already explained this. DP used for passive skills like heal and recover, so the blue numbers. Power points are used for special physical attacks, the green numbers, sorry. Power points rise with momentum or planning defensive skills like hold ground, greatly increase the user's power points. So you can also wait and it puts all 3 stats up. Successful attack or defensive point move also gives a minor boost, usually between 5 and 10 depending on what you use. If it's a skill, they usually basically counteract, so you hit with a skill and you get the 10 back, but if you do double attack, of course you get double power points because each hit gives you more points. Different characters have different roles. This is what I didn't mention. Passive characters should focus on healing. We'll get onto that. Physical characters should focus on attack, and a strong opening move is hold ground. Okay, Malak is a passive character, which means he's mostly focused on healing, and his attack is pretty weak, but he is very fast. Samael is a physical character. He's a lot slower than the other two, but he hits a lot harder. And Ibn Hart, Ark, are a hybrid, so he can do healing when he levels up a bit, and he can also do hitting, and his skills are a mix of the two. So you can fill both roles, but less effectively. When we get to the point where we have to switch characters in and out, you generally speaking want at least one attacker, you want at least one passive, and at least one hybrid, and the hybrid can fill whatever gap is necessary. 2 attackers seems to be meta, so somebody who can taunt and somebody who can smack is usually a good route to go. When hold ground is active, a yellow shield icon will appear next to the character's name. Keep the shield up if you wish to keep your party alive. You'll notice later on in the game, if you don't hold ground, you will die. Guaranteed. The effect will last for 2 turns on average. The user should be someone who can benefit from a lot of power points quickly, or is least likely to do a lot of damage. So check who has the least PP as stats, or, for example, use Yorka because he gets to move twice. If you're going to be in a long fight and you need your characters to get physical attacks really quickly, then an attacking character is pretty good for hold ground as well. And Ibn is always a good choice for hold ground because he basically does whatever job is necessary. So if you need to heal and you also need to do damage, Ibn is the best hold ground option. Experiment, but remember the enemies are dangerous. Equip yourself as best you can in the menu and work as a team. Lastly, as you level up, you'll learn more skills. You can see what skills you know and what they do by checking skills in the menu. Alright, so let's talk briefly about the menu here. So you can see that we have 3 characters because we picked up Samael in this particular playthrough, but if you didn't pick up Samael, you'll only have the 2 characters here. I did speak about equipment last time, but we've got a little bit more equipment now, so we'll have a look at Samael specifically, because Samael is the character I like to actually change their weapon. So, if we switch spear to axe, you can see that he will do more damage, but he'll have less agility and less luck. So why would I do that? I would do that because the axe actually has a chance of immediately killing an enemy, and the spear has a good chance of causing a bleed, which means it has like damage over time. It's not a good chance, sorry, it has a small chance of killing an enemy outright, and the spear has a relatively good chance of causing bleed. So there are benefits to both. One of the reasons I give Samael an axe is because he's both a spearman and an axeman, so he's fine with both weapons, but I just like having an axe early on, especially in the forest where you sometimes just wipe out a djinn, which can be very, very helpful. Now, there is another option here though that says optimize, and if it optimizes, the game will basically assume the best stats for you, which would give Samael a spear again, I think. Yes, it would. But, like I said, I prefer the axe personally, so I'm going to give him an axe. even though he's going to be slower. He doesn't need to be fast, he's a smacker. I much prefer him to do that job better than anything else. And the luck has been decreased specifically because the chance of knocking somebody out in one shot should be difficult, so that's why the luck is lowered with the axe. Whereas with the spear, the luck is higher, he's got much better chance of achieving the bleed. And we can have a quick look at status as well. So if we look at Samael, because he's the strongest in the party. So on the status skill you'll see their current XP and their what they need for the next level. So he needs 72 to reach level 3. You can see all of their stats: attack, defense, elemental attack, elemental defense, agility, luck, his equipment, and there's a short little text underneath as well. So Samael tends not to speak until spoken to. He's Eben's personal Favashi. So you can do the same with the other two. Yoka is a fairly inexperienced Favashi, but he hopes one day to be considered worthy of protecting an angel. And so he dreams of being a guard, even though he's a scout. And Arkeben is charged with the day-to-day running of Eden, the City of Light. So there we go, there's the status. I'm going to leave it here and we'll go on to the Eastern Wall, speak to Doran Malak, and have a look around in that area next time. That will be released the day after this video is released, I hope. So, thank you for watching, and I hope this has been helpful to you and that you've picked up some information that you wouldn't have otherwise noticed maybe, or that, well, if there's anything that I missed or if there's anything that you want to say, please leave it in the comments below and I'll respond at my next possible opportunity. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not going to wink this time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now. Not only is that all there is to the menu, but that's also all there is for the menu.